Hey guys, Loman02, currently playing some Legacy. This is 4CLeovold, 4CLeovold. This hand is unkeepable, unfortunately. It is a very exceedingly greedy deck. This hand is much better, so we have deathrite shaman. We can turn 1 daze. We're going to bottom the land. We're going to be fetching anyway, so it doesn't really matter what we did with it, but go ahead and find a tropical island here. Land a deathrite and be set up to get a true name nemesis down on the following turn, which feels pretty decent. We also have daze in case an opponent tries to, I don't know, play something that we need to counter right away. Scrubland, not as much of a threat, I don't think, if they cast. Alright, yeah, this is going to get dazed. Alright, go ahead. Stoneforge, probably best draw in the deck. Another true name, not really where we want to be. I'm going to play the land out, though, and fetch a blue-black source here. So we can exile the Thoughtseize from the yard. Alright, go ahead. Could have played the tropical island to conceal more information, but I think getting the value when and where we can is going to be important. Plus it puts him to 18, which is a nice even multiple of 3, allowing the true name to kind of finish them off. Alright, Inquisition of Kozilek. Yep, I gotta say yes to that. Okay, we lose one of our true names. Alright, a deathrite. Well, now I have an entirely different plan. I'm just gonna make a white mana with this and Swords to Plowshares. Their dude. They probably have a Knight of the Reliquary or something else they want to get down more important than this, but I think it's worth doing. Alright, Daze was a nice pickup as well. The one issue with this line of play is it also does limit our ability to make more mana with Deathrite unless someone plays a Wasteland or we find another fetch land. Or they do. Yep, you. Oh, still a multiple of 3. And we'll see what they're up to. If they have like Pernicious Deed here, that could be bad, but we'll just daze that. Could be on like on a Nick Fit, but I wouldn't think Nick Fit would not tend to run Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek because they're going to be playing. Alright, this okay, I can't daze that, so got it. If that's it, I feel a lot better about that. Okay, Force of Will, hopefully something we can hardcast Daze on. Yeah, Nick Fit would tend to be running Cabal Therapy because it'll have some number of veteran explorers to combo out with it. Alright, should probably turn off my auto yields here in case they... I guess they can't cast Vampiric Tutor here. I don't know what they would want to be fetching for. Maybe they have too many lands in hand. Yeah, seems likely they probably have a lot of fetch lands, or a lot of lands in hand. Otherwise, I don't think I would fetch there. So Liliana, Stoneforge. Well... just going to Force of Will that. Would have been nice to be able to just daze it, but I think Force of Willing that to get around Batterskull is probably good. Good pickup there. Now any of our 3-drops are alive again. No, we only have 2 true names left. I think like 2 or 3 Leovolds, maybe 2 Leovolds. I don't know why they fetched there. I still am kind of confused by that line of play. Okay, Abrupt Decay, cool. Okay, Deathrite Shaman, cool. Alright, Force of Will again. Not really a great draw. Well, 4-turn clock. Not exactly the most stellar, but... alright, Bob could up that though, and they can gain life off of killing the creatures. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the graveyard, so they have some life gain going on. Alright, well, we have Force of Will available now. What do they use their Deathrite to do here? Probably gain life, would be my guess. Yeah, okay. Okay, they got a land there, which is good for them. I wonder if they run Liliana in this deck. It would seem they should, but... I don't really think I care about this card. Alright, well, any land would be good here. Do they dome me, or do they gain life? I think they could probably dome me at this point. Nope, they're gaining life. Well, there you go. Dark Confidant delivering to you. I could attempt to cast this with the deathrite shaman, which would, at a minimum, force me to keep back the true name. But I will likely Force of Will here. Actually, I'll just Daze. If they don't have a land drop, like, Daze makes a lot more sense here. My guess is they probably just cast something else and then leave up Deathrite mana, though. Okay, they're trying to hard cast this thing. Alright, well, we'll Daze it. All day, all night. Well, and there's the win. So, a Noble Hierarch, and attack for 4. So, 4-color check pile. One of the reasons that Blood Moon decks have been doing a lot better as of late. But overall, I think still a pretty cool deck. Okie doke. So, they're a Deathrite deck. So on Zealous Persecution, I see it randomly being okay. I'm on the draw, so it's probably better than Daze. It also combats Golgari Charm, I suppose. I'm going to try it. I don't think Daze is going to be that great normally on the draw. On the play, it's pretty good. Okay, hand's good. Plenty of lands. This would be a better hand on the play, but most of the hands of this deck will be. It's an aggressive deck. It's an aggro control deck, rather. So, turn 1, polluted. Alright, we're going to get Inquisitioned here. No, nothing. Well, I can't wasteland them. So, oh, that was a great pickup. So here what we're going to do is hope we don't get, like, Marsh Casualties now, but they probably are running that. I'm going to play out the Noblest of Hierarchs and say go. They play Dark Confidant. Do I Daze it? It's kind of a question here. This I will Daze, though. Get them with a Wasteland here, and go ahead and resolve a bird. And hope not to get Marsh Casualties. If we get Marsh Casualties, that's very bad for us. If that wasn't obvious. Alright, cool. We mana screwed him. That's kind of what you want to do. Alright, we drew our 2 sideboard cards. I didn't really want 2 of these, but who am I to complain? I wish I also had Force of Will, because this is still running into Marsh Casualties really hard. But I don't think it's right to brainstorm here. I think we just get our threat down and then hope to get an untap and have marsh casualties available to protect ourselves. Okay, if they have it, we're in a lot of trouble here because they found the land they needed. And it looks like they possibly did. Alright, well, no, that's not marsh casualties mana. Alright, Agite. Cool. Doesn't really do anything on its own, though. And we have an STP. I think I'm going to hold on to Brainstorm here. I prefer to find a fetch land. And I don't feel under that much pressure here. So especially if they do nothing. If they do nothing on their turn, like, the game's probably ours. Okay, now I'm certainly not using Brainstorm. That's very greedy at that point. Get in for a little bit of damage. But we have Force of Will plus Swords to Plowshares and Zealous Persecution. So we have insurance against marsh casualties with Zealous Persecution, unless it's -2/-2. I think it is, actually, but I think it's 3 black mana to do that. Yeah, okay. You can look at my hand, take 2 damage. Alright, they get rid of the Brainstorm. I could have Brainstormed to hide some stuff there, but I think that's wrong. Alright, well, we can still leave up Zealous Persecution and Swords to Plowshares like this, so we'll just do this and find a likely sort of light and sort of Fire and Ice. So we can play that out next turn and just... I mean, we're already winning this game. I don't think we can lose, but we'll see. There are certainly cards that could do it. Like Toxic Deluge would be a beating here. Although, T-Del would be a beating. That would be fair. That'd be justice. Alright, they don't have T-Del in their deck because they just conceded. Anyway, this is 4-color CzechPile. You saw the list a bit in sideboarding, but I'll pull it up real quick and we can take a look at it. I think it's called 4C Stoneblade here. So it is a Force of Will deck. Runs a Stoneforge Mystic package. Also runs Jace the Mind Sculptor. It centers around its 3s, which are True Name Nemesis. In order to get them out faster, and Leovold. In order to get them out faster, we have the 4 Deathrite Shamans that I think if you don't want to play like a predatory deck, like a Blood Moon deck or Eldrazi, you pretty much have to play Deathrite Shaman because the card is just one of the better cards in Legacy. Obviously, the fetch lands are what really support it in Wasteland. Also run the 4 Brainstorms. I don't like having Ponder in this deck because it's a little less powerful than Brainstorm for starters, and 2, it's very slow. So this deck is all about impacts on the board and just winning the game. And it can also with its sideboard deal with hands through cards like Vendilion Click, Duress, Thoughtseize. Has some Meddling Mages, which I guess is essentially in a roundabout way hand interaction. Has Zealous Persecution to stop the primary means that most folks use to stop True Name Nemesis. Really, the only thing they can get True Name Nemesis, and we can still get with Force of Will, is like something along the lines of trying to think like Decree of Pain would work that could not be countered, but like Council's Judgment is like the only card that you tend to see out of Miracles that can really stop True Name Nemesis once it has resolved, and or Terminus. Terminus is also decently common. Suppose Supreme Verdict as well, but those are all pretty much isolated to one deck. So a pretty interesting deck, has a lot of game against a lot of different things. It is exceedingly greedy, as you can tell. Like, it has no basic lands whatsoever inside the mana base, but then again, it's playing 4 colors very solidly, and manages to work pretty well, as you saw in that game. So this has been another Legacy, covering 4CCzechPile or 4CLeovold, whatever you'd prefer to call it. The CzechPile may even have read it now, I don't know. But this deck's pretty cool, and it works very well, surprisingly well, for a deck of 4 colors in a competitive environment. We were just playing, I don't per se know. I don't know if it was a more competitive list or not. It certainly had some good discard spells, but I don't know. It seemed like it was, kind of too inactive to close the game out there. And that last game was kind of sad because the Timely Wasteland just ended the game entirely for him. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick coverage of an interesting Legacy deck. And if you'd like to see more of these, let me know. Typically, I've been doing 93, 94 content, a little bit of vintage content, some cube content. Obviously, I started the channel for 100 card or Highlander content, but I like playing all kinds of Eternal formats, some mainstream, some not. This is obviously a more mainstream format, and one that, I've played a large amount of, I don't play competitively, because playing this format over and over again gets boring for me because the decks just kind of become redundant and play out very similarly each time, so I get bored. But they are pretty cool decks. They can do some very interesting things, and they can play some pretty powerful Magic. That's one cool thing about Legacy as opposed to Vintage is the decks are, generally speaking, more fair. There are unfair decks like Sneak and Show, like Storm, Eureka Show. There's a bunch of different random unfair decks in the format, but there's also a higher propensity of fair decks in the format because you don't have the busted mana that you do and the busted tutors that you do in Vintage. So that is one interesting thing that you kind of get when you play Legacy, and what makes it very distinguishable. Outside of the fact that it also has unrestricted Brainstorm and Ponder, but really those are only unrestricted because they're unrestricted because the cards are so much more powerful in Vintage that having effects like this allows you to get to the more busted cards in the format. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and take care now.